right, hello students. So I'm going to do a couple examples from the links that I put on Canvas. This is the first link, intercepts from a graph. This is the most straightforward because all you have to really remember to complete these problems is that this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. And so when I'm looking for the y-intercept, I want to find that point, and the x-intercept is that point right there. And so to me, it looks like the y-intercept is touching at 0.4. And that's a y value, so I type it into the second coordinate because we've got, remember that our points are always written x, comma, y. So I put the y-intercept in the second spot. But what number should I put into the first spot? 0. If you think about the y-axis, every point on the y-axis has an x value of 0. And similarly, the x-intercept looks like it touches at 0.3 and it has a y value of 0. Every point on the x-axis has a y value of 0. So, in fact, that's so important that you should write that down in your notes, that if you have an x-intercept, that means that the y value is equal to 0. And if you have a y-intercept, that means that the x value is 0. It's so important that you understand that when I say x-intercept, I'm looking for x to be a number, and then the y value has to be 0. Vice versa for the y-intercept. If you get stuck on any of these problems, you can always click right down here, and this will bring up a video you can watch, and you can click on the Get a Hint. And it tells you just about the same thing that I said. You can even get another hint right here, and it tells you where the answers are. So the hints are really useful if you're getting stuck. Okay, I'm going to move on to the second link. The second link is a little bit harder because you don't have the picture to look at, but you have the same idea that the y-intercept means that x is equal to 0. And so for the y-intercept, I'm going to make x equal 0. And guess what? When you make x equal 0, 5 times 0, negative 5 times 0 is just nothing. So you have negative 4y equals 10. Divide both sides by negative 4. Use a calculator if you want, and you get your answer y equals negative 2.5. To type your answer in, you have to remember that the x is equal to 0, and the y is equal to whatever you solved for. Similarly, to find the x-intercept, let's use a different color. To find the x-intercept, I'm going to leave x as a number because I'm solving for the x-intercept. So the x is going to be a letter. And then I'm going to make the y value 0. And then I have, get rid of that, divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5, and I get x is equal to negative 2. You can type that in right there. And remember, if you're stuck, you've got your hint button right there. I'm going to move on to the last link. Let's go ahead and clear the screen. We're still doing the same idea of x and y intercepts, and this one asks me about the y-intercept. And so that means I need to figure out what happens when x is equal to 0. So I want to work my table until x is equal to 0. And what I'm seeing is my x's are going up by 12s. So if I work backwards, I can have x equals 12, and then work backwards again, and I can have x equals 0. And when I look at my y values, my y is going up by 9. So if I work backwards by 9, I'll have negative 17. If I work backwards by 9 again, I'll have negative 26. Let me just double check that that works. If I go plus 9, it gets to 17, plus 9, it gets to 8, plus 9. That seems to be good. And so then you type in your y-intercept as 0 and negative 26. There we go. All right, good luck. Please don't hesitate to ask your substitute teacher questions or to email me if you need anything. Thank you.